You ever have those moments where a room is so quiet, it actually starts to feel, I don't know, heavy? Like the silence itself is vibrating? Yeah, like the air is charged. The text calls it anticipation humming. It's that weird sensation that the universe has actually stopped what it's doing just to watch you. Exactly. And our guy here, he's in his element. This is his sanctuary. He's doing the routine, smoothing the linens, lighting that eucalyptus candle. You can almost smell it, right? That crisp, clean stillness. It's interesting though, because for him, his work is usually where the world disappears. It's all about the rhythm of breath and the glide of the oil. It's predictable, it's safe. But then he looks at the clock. Ethan, 4 p.m. Just a name and a time on a schedule. Super mundane, right? On the surface, yeah, but he feels this flutter in his chest. And I think that's what's so relatable. It's that split second where you realize your routine isn't just a routine anymore. It's a countdown. It's like he's standing on a cliffside. He spent all this time creating a space of silence, but now he's wondering if that silence is finally about to be broken by, well, by another person. It's that classic human tension, isn't it? We crave the sanctuary, the peace, but we're always secretly waiting for the person who's going to come in and change everything. Man, waiting for two specific paths to cross in the stillness. That's a heavy weight to wait for a 4 o'clock appointment. It really is. It makes you wonder what happens when the door finally opens.
You know, there's this one moment in the text that it hits different. It's that second the bell above the door chimes and everything just stops. You ever had one of those moments where the air in the room actually feels like it's shifting? Totally. It's like the atmosphere gets heavy all of a sudden. And then we see Ethan. The way he's described, man, it's visceral. He's standing there in the light and he's got that uncalculated look. Messy hair, sharp jawline, but he's just wiped out. Yeah, the posture that screams exhaustion. That's what got me. He's stunning, sure, but it's not a polished kind of beauty. It's raw. It's someone who's been through it. And when he turns to face the narrator, that's where the professional walls just crumble. Right, the professional script just goes out the window. I think we've all been there, where you have a job to do, a way you're supposed to act, but you look into someone's eyes and you see that cloud of pain. Those piercing blue eyes weren't just a color, they were a story. And he tries to hide it, doesn't he? He gives that tight, polite smile, but the narrator sees right through it. They see the tension in his shoulders, that silent plea for help. It's that contrast that's so moving. On the surface, he's this striking, composed guy, but underneath, he's just holding on by a thread. And the narrator feels that pull immediately. It's not just attraction, it's empathy. It's like they were pulled into his orbit before a single word was even spoken. It's heavy, man. Just that one look and you know everything is about to change for both of them.
So I was diving into this passage earlier today, and man, the atmosphere in this scene, it's just so heavy, but in a good way, you know? I know exactly what you mean. It's that specific kind of stillness. You have these two people in a small room, and it starts with something as mundane as a wooden clipboard, but it shifts so quickly into something much more visceral. Right. And the first thing that hits you is the sound, that warm rumble of a voice. The narrator describes it as deeper than expected, like it's vibrating through the walls. You can almost feel that bass in your chest just reading it. It's a grounding force. But then you get to the physical details, the strong, veined hand against the denim. It's such a masculine image, but there's this underlying softness because he's hurt. He's got this strain that won't let him sleep, and he's just sitting there, absent-mindedly rubbing the pain. That's the part that got me, that contrast. You see this guy, he's clearly powerful, maybe even a bit formidable, but in this moment, he's just human. He's vulnerable, and the narrator is just captivated by that, watching his fingers move, noticing the texture of his skin. It's incredibly observant. It's that strength versus vulnerability dynamic we talk about a lot. It's rare to see a moment where a man feels safe enough to show that he's struggling with something as simple as a leg injury. It's like the pain has stripped away the armor. And the ending, that eye contact, the promise, we would find the source of the pain and ease it away. It feels like more than just a medical, I'll fix your leg. It feels like a genuine connection, like a vow to take care of him. Yeah, it's not just about the physical therapy at that point. It's about being seen. The narrator isn't just looking at a patient, he's really looking at the man. There's a lot of empathy in that room. It's pretty beautiful, honestly.
You know, I was just rereading that passage about the treatment room, and man, you can almost smell the lavender and cedar just sitting here, can't you? It's incredibly sensory. But what struck me wasn't just the atmosphere, it was the internal shift. He describes his voice dropping into that sanctuary hush, this professional mask he wears, but then he goes to wash his hands and the water sounds like a roar because his heart is beating so fast. Right, it's that classic calm pond paddling like crazy underneath feeling. There's this heavy, expectant tension. He's trying to be the healer, the professional, but he's also just a human being who is clearly affected by this person. And then he walks back in. The way he describes the lighting, that amber glow from the salt lamp hitting the muscles of the man's back, he calls it a landscape. He's not just looking at a client anymore. Yeah, he says it felt like stepping into a painting. That hit me. It's like time just stopped. The world outside that door, the clinical side of things, it all just fell away. And for a second, it was just this singular, beautiful moment of stillness. It's a very vulnerable kind of intimacy. Not necessarily loud or overt, but quiet. Deeply quiet. It makes you realize how much weight is carried in those small, silent spaces between people. It really does. It's like he finally took a breath, even if his heart was still racing. It's heavy, man, in a beautiful way.
You know, I was reading this one passage earlier, and it really stuck with me. It's about that exact moment, right before you reach out and actually touch someone. That split second of preparation. Right, the intentionality behind it. Because it's not just a casual hey or a pat on the back. It's something much more deliberate. Exactly. The writer describes warming the oil between their palms. Just that friction creating that gentle heat. And they take this grounding breath at the head of the table. You can almost feel the weight of the air in the room, right? Like they're bracing themselves for the connection. It's that internal quieting before the storm. And then the contact happens. And what's interesting is the reaction. It's not immediate relaxation. It's resistance. The muscles are tight, holding on to whatever stress is there. Yeah, and then that exhale, that long, shaky breath where the body finally just sinks. But the part that really got me, the way they described the sensation of the touch itself. They said it felt electric and weighty, like plugging into a live wire. That's such a powerful image, because it moves past the physical, doesn't it? It's not just skin and muscle anymore. It's like there's this raw current running between two people. It's heavy, but it's charged. It really is. And as they start those long strokes down the spine, they aren't just moving their hands. They're trying to communicate something. They're trying to tell the other person, you're safe. I've got you. Yeah, it's wild how much you can say without saying a single word, just through the fingertips. It's that deep sense of providing a harbor for someone else's storm. It's pretty beautiful, honestly.
So I was diving into this passage earlier, and man, it really caught me off guard. It's this incredibly quiet, intimate moment where one guy is giving another a massage, but it feels like so much more than that. Right, it's not just about physical therapy. The author talks about learning the map of his body. It's like by working through those knots, he's actually discovering who this person is on a deeper level. Exactly. And that line about him carrying the weight of the world between his shoulder blades, haven't we all felt that? That physical manifestation of just everything life throws at you, all knotted up in your back. Yeah, and the detail about the breathing is what got me. That small hitch in his breath every time a trigger point is hit. It's such a vulnerable human sound. It's that moment where the physical pain meets a kind of emotional release. It's a dance, right? That's how he describes it, this dance of pressure and release. You can almost feel the heat coming off the skin. There's this hyper-awareness of the other person that feels so raw. And then it shifts. It goes from just fixing a sore back to this deep, almost overwhelming sense of protectiveness. That's the part that stuck with me. That sudden urge to not just fix the muscles, but to smooth out every furrow in his existence. It's like he realizes he can't fix the world for him, but in this one room, in this one moment, he's going to try. It's a beautiful way to look at how we take care of the people we love. Sometimes you just start with the knots in their shoulders and hope it reaches the rest of them.
You know, I was reading through this passage earlier, and it really hit me. It's that specific moment when the outside world just vanishes. You've got the rain sounds playing, the soft strings, and usually your brain is just a mess, right? You're thinking about laundry or what you need to pick up at the store. Yeah, the mental chatter. It's almost impossible to turn off. But what's fascinating here is that total shift in frequency. It's like the narrator moves from being in his head to being completely in his hands. Exactly. He describes it as this absolute focus. And there's this line about tracing the spine, moving toward the hips. There's so much reverence there. It's not just a physical movement. He calls it a magnetic pull. Like you can almost feel the tension in the air just reading it. It's that distinction between mechanics and meaning, isn't it? He's literally wondering, can he feel the difference? Like, is there a way to communicate through touch that words just can't touch, right? Because he's respecting the boundaries. He mentions the draping. But there's this heavy, comfortable silence that says more than a literal conversation ever could. It's emotional, man. It's like he's pouring all this unsaid stuff into every single stroke. It really reframes the whole interaction. It's not just a session anymore. Like the text says at the end, it's a silent conversation, skin to skin. That's a heavy realization to have in a room that quiet. It's beautiful, honestly. It's that rare moment of being 100% present with another person. No grocery lists, no distractions, just that connection.
You know, I was rereading that passage we flagged earlier, and man, there's just something about the way it captures that specific kind of silence. You know the one, where the air just feels heavy? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's that moment right before the caretaking starts. It's not just about the injury, it's about the shift in power, the vulnerability of it all. Right, like when he asks him to turn over and the text says the sheet rustled like a sigh. That hit me. It's such a small sound, but in a quiet room, it feels massive. It really grounds the scene. And it's interesting how narrator one notices the details, the planes of his chest, the sharp line of his jaw. It's like in this moment of hurt, he's seeing him clearly for maybe the first time. He looks younger, softer. The armor is totally off. It's the intimacy of it that gets me. He's tucking the sheets, trying to be professional, I guess, but he says the distance between them is shrinking, even though he hasn't moved an inch. That's a heavy feeling to describe, that charged air. It's that tension between wanting to help and being almost overwhelmed by how much the other person is letting you in. And that ending, God, he cracks one eye open just to check and then closes it again. That's the ultimate I'm safe with you. He doesn't even need to watch what's happening. He just trusts him completely. It's a quiet moment, but honestly, it feels louder than any big action scene. Seriously, it's really beautiful, man. Makes you think about who you trust like that.
You know, I was reading through this scene earlier and it really stuck with me. It's such a quiet moment, but man, the tension in it is it's palpable, right? It's that specific kind of intimacy that comes through when someone is actually trying to help you heal. There's this line about the injury feeling like a coiled spring under the skin. It's not just a sore muscle, it feels like this heavy, pent-up energy. Exactly, and I love how sensory it is. You can almost feel the weight of it, that description of his leg being heavy and solid in the other guy's hands. It's that mix of natural body heat and the actual fire of the inflammation. It's intense. It really is. And then you hit that turning point, the moment where his breath just catches. Everything stops for a second. It's that thin line between this is helping and this is almost too much to handle. And that's the part that got me. The too much, whispered so softly. It's such a vulnerable check-in. You're literally holding someone's pain in your hands, you know? Yeah, and the response is what really kills me. That rough voice saying, No, keep going. It's like he's finally giving himself permission to let someone in, even if it hurts. It's about trust, honestly. More than just a massage, it feels like someone finally being looked after. Yeah, it's that raw, honest moment of just staying in it, not pulling away. It's powerful, man. Really powerful.
I mean, just listen to that imagery. The knot released with a palpable shift, like a sigh escaping the tissue. You can almost feel that physical weight just evaporating, right? It's so visceral. And I think what's interesting here isn't just the physical relief, it's the reaction. Ethan lets out this deep, resonant groan. It's like he's finally letting go of something he's been carrying for a long time. It's more than just a muscle relaxing. Totally. And the narrator, his shift in that moment is what got me. He goes from this deep work, the technical, professional stuff, to these long, comforting strokes. It's like the energy in the room completely changed the second that tension broke. Right, and he actually calls it out. He says it wasn't just professional pride, it was a personal joy. There's this profound sense of empathy there. That feeling of, I'm the one who took your pain away. It's a very heavy, very intimate realization. It really is. And that last line, man, my hands lingered on his leg, reluctant to break the circuit. It's like he didn't want to let go of that connection they just built through that healing. Yeah, it's like once you've bridged that gap and truly helped someone at their most vulnerable, breaking that contact feels like losing the frequency. It's quiet, it's reflective, and it's honestly just really beautiful.
Man, this next part, it really hits on that specific kind of tension. When the professional boundary just starts to blur? Yeah, it's that shift. We're in the middle of a session, super clinical, right? He's just finishing up, gently stretching the guy's foot. It's routine. But then the eyes open, and it's not that groggy, where am I kind of look. He says he didn't look at the ceiling. He looked straight at him. And the description here, pupils blown wide, blue irises going dark in that dim room. It's so visceral. It's the endorphin haze that gets me. Like the guy is physically relaxed, but there's this sudden mental clarity, this recognition. It's like he's finally really seeing the person who's been taking care of him, right? And our narrator is just stuck. He's still holding his ankle and his calf. He says he froze for a heartbeat. I can almost feel that breath catching in his throat. It's that silence, too. He points out that the silence wasn't empty anymore. It was actually full of words we weren't saying. That's such a heavy way to put it. When the quiet between two people starts feeling loud. Exactly. And the ending of that passage, man, he feels so exposed. Like he's wearing these professional scrubs, this literal uniform of I'm the one in charge here. But he's convinced the other guy can see his heart pounding right through the fabric. It's a total loss of armor. You go from being the provider, the one in control, to feeling completely seen. It's vulnerable. It's a lot.
Man, this next part of the text, it's heavy. It's that moment where the professional mask just completely slips. Yeah, you can really feel the tension between what he's supposed to do, the protocol, the wash up and leave routine, and what he actually feels in that room, right? He says he stayed for 3 seconds. And I mean, in a normal conversation, 3 seconds is nothing. But here, in that silence, it feels like an eternity. He says the air was literally crackling between them. It's the description of the lean that gets me. The client didn't pull away. He leaned into it. It's like for a brief moment, the whole therapist-client thing just evaporated. It wasn't about the job anymore. Exactly. It's just 2 guys in a room. One who's incredibly lonely and another who just wanted to be close to him. It's so raw. It's like they finally saw each other, stripped of all the titles, and then not whisper at the end, "Thank you." God, that thank you. It's so loaded, right? It's not just a thanks for the session. It's a thank you for staying. Thank you for breaking the rules just to acknowledge that I'm here. Honestly, it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's that human need to be seen, even or maybe especially when it's not part of the plan.
It's a lot to sit with.
Man, this next part of the story, it really got to me. It's that moment right after something intense happens, and you can just feel the weight of everything that wasn't said. Yeah, it's that specific kind of tension. Like he literally has to force himself to step back. It's not a natural movement. He's fighting his own instinct to stay close. And did you catch the detail about his voice? He says it sounds foreign to him, huskier than usual. It's like the emotion of the moment literally changed his biology for a second. He doesn't even recognize himself. It's the vulnerability of it all. I mean, he stops to cover him with a blanket. He calls it a gesture that felt almost too tender. It's like he's realizing in real time just how deep his feelings go, and it's actually kind of terrifying for him, right? And then the exit. He says turning his back and walking to the door was one of the hardest things he's ever done. You can almost feel that physical ache of pulling away from someone you don't want to leave. Totally. And that last image, feeling those eyes burning a path between his shoulder blades. He's walking away, but he's still completely pinned by that connection. He hits the cool air of the hallway, but you know he's still carrying all that heat from the room with him. It's heavy, man. That struggle between wanting to be there and needing to breathe, it's a lot.
You ever had that moment where you finally step away from someone and the first thing you do is just exhale? Like you didn't even realize you'd stopped breathing? Oh, absolutely. It's that high alert state. And I love how he describes it here, leaning against the corridor wall, his hands actually trembling. It's that classic post-adrenaline crash where your body finally catches up to your brain. Right. And then there's that scene at the sink. He's scrubbing his hands, trying to get the oil off, but he calls it a phantom touch. Man, that's such a visceral way to put it. You can wash away the physical evidence, the grease and the grime, but you can't wash away the way his skin actually felt. It's a total sensory overload. He's being mechanical about the washing because that's the only way he knows how to cope in the moment. It's an attempt to regain control. But then he looks in the mirror and bam, he's flushed. The physical reaction is just betraying him. Yeah, he's basically trying to talk himself back into his own skin. He's straightening the uniform, drinking water, literally trying to summon his professional persona back from wherever it fled to. It's like his professional self just left the building the second things got intense. It's that battle between duty and whatever this new feeling is. He wants to be the guy in the uniform, the professional. He wants to move on, but he can't because of that final image, that look. He says the image of him looking up at him just refused to fade. It's like it's burned into the back of his eyelids. Yeah, you can straighten your tie and drink all the water you want, but once you've seen someone look at you like that, you're not going back to business as usual. Not really.
You know, there's this one moment in the story that it really sticks with me. It's that scene where Ethan finally walks back out through those doors after his session. Yeah, I know exactly the one you mean. It's like the air in the room completely shifts the second he steps out. The text describes him as softer and untethered. It's such a specific way to put it, right? And it's those little physical details that get me. Like his hair is all ruffled from the face cradle, he's blinking at the light. He's vulnerable, man. But then you see that the limp is just gone. He's literally walking easier. It's a physical transformation, but it's clearly deeper than that. When he says, "I feel new," it isn't just about his muscles relaxing. It feels like he's dropped a weight he's been carrying for years. Totally. And then he sees the narrator and he gives this slow, genuine smile, the kind that reaches those impossible eyes. You can just feel that magnetic pull between them. It's like the whole atmosphere gets electric. That's the part that really struck me, how the space between them changes. It's not a professional boundary anymore. The narrator realizes he doesn't look like a client anymore. Exactly. He's not a project or a patient. He's a possibility. Man, that shift from patient to possibility, that's where the whole world opens up. It's a powerful moment.
You know, I was reading through this passage earlier and it really stayed with me. It's that moment at the end of an appointment. Just a simple transaction, but everything shifts. Yeah, it's that static shock bit, right? It's funny because it's such a cliche in movies, but here it felt heavy. Like the physical spark was just an excuse for the emotional one that was already there. Exactly. And that nervous, breathless laugh they share, man, I felt that in my chest. It's that feeling when you realize you're both experiencing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and you're both kind of terrified of it. And what's interesting to me is the lingering. The text says he didn't pull his hand back immediately. In a normal professional setting, you jump back, right? You'd apologize and create distance. But he stays in that space. He chooses to let the touch last. It's the subtext, man. Like they're talking about rebooking and payments, but the real conversation is happening in those quiet beats. It's all in the pauses. Right, and then that final exchange. It's almost playful, but so high stakes. She, or the narrator, tries to bring it back to the professional side, mentioning the leg, trying to keep her composure because her knees are literally going weak. Yeah, she's trying so hard to be the professional one. But then he goes there. He says he's coming back mostly for the hands. That's the kicker. It's such a vulnerable thing to admit. He's essentially saying, I'm not here for the service, I'm here for you. It's a complete acknowledgement of the intimacy of the moment. It's beautiful, honestly. It's that split second where a stranger becomes someone potentially very important. You can just feel the electricity still humming even after the story ends.
You ever have those moments where a scene it stays with you? Like you can practically feel the air in the room change? Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's that specific kind of tension. I was looking at this passage about Ethan leaving the shop, and man, it's heavy, right? It's that hand on the handle moment. He's already halfway out the door, but he just lingers. And it's not even about what they're saying, it's about that weight and the silence. Totally. And it's interesting how the author describes his voice dropping to that intimate register. It's like in that moment, the rest of the world just stops existing. He tells him, you have a gift, and you can tell it's not just a compliment. It's an acknowledgement of something much deeper. Exactly. And the narrator's reaction, or lack of one, really got me. He's just nodding, trying so hard not to say something that'll give him away. That feeling of being so full of emotion that if you speak, you might just spill everything. It's that vulnerability. And then there's that gaze. The text calls it a promise. That 1 second too long where they both just know. It's such a subtle way to write about a massive connection. But then, and this is the part that actually hurt a little, the door finally closes. That bell chimes, and the author calls it final and lonely. Right, it's the shift in the physics of the room. 1 second, it's this warm, shared space. And the next, it's just fast, empty. It's crazy how one person leaving can make a whole room feel like a vacuum. Yeah, it's that sudden silence that's actually louder than the conversation they were just having. It really captures that ache of watching someone walk away, even when you know you'll see them again. It's a lot. You ever have those moments where a person leaves the room but they don't really leave? Like the air just feels heavier than it did before they walked in? Oh, totally. It's like their energy is still physically there, occupying the space. And in this story, it's so sensory, right? He goes back into the treatment room to clean up, and it's like he's hit with this wall of sandalwood, musk, and rain. Ah, man, that specific combination, you can almost smell it just hearing the words. It's such an intimate thing too, cleaning up after someone. He's stripping the sheets and he actually stops. He just holds the linen for a second. It's like he's trying to catch a piece of that feeling before it fades. It's that self-awareness that gets me though. He's standing there thinking, this is ridiculous. He's judging himself because it was only a 60-minute session. We've all been there, where you're like, why am I this affected by someone I barely know? You try to rationalize it away while you're wiping down the table. Right, you're trying to be professional, trying to get back to reality, and then buzz. The phone goes off in his pocket. The universe just wasn't going to let him move on that easily. Not at all. He checks the app expecting a follow-up for next month, maybe, but it's Ethan, and Ethan's not waiting. See, that's the O moment. It's not a month out, it's 2 days. 2 days. I mean, that's a statement. That's not just, I need another massage. That's Ethan saying, I felt that too. It changes the whole vibe. It goes from a lingering memory to, okay, this is actually happening. This is the start of something.
Man, you ever have one of those moments where you're just staring at your phone and you realize everything has, I don't know, tilted? Yeah, like the floor just dropped an inch, but in a good way. This text really captures that. That line, the orbit had shifted, gravity had changed. It's so heavy, but also so light, you know? Exactly. And it starts with that smile he can't even suppress. It's that raw, involuntary reaction to realizing he's not alone in this. He's looking at the screen and thinking, okay, it's not just me. He felt it too. It's the validation, right? But I love how he pivots to the atmosphere of the room. He blows out the candle and he describes the smoke as a prayer answered. That feels so, I don't know, intimate. Like he's been carrying this quiet hope in the dark for a long time. Totally. And it makes you think about his life before this moment. He calls his work a sanctuary of one-way giving. That hit me. Just always being the one to reach out, the one to put in the effort, living in this kind of peaceful but lonely silence. It's safe, but it's stagnant. But tonight that changes. He's locking the door, he's stepping into the night air, and you can almost feel the electricity in the cool night air. He says the silence is over. It's like he's finally hearing the other half of the song. Yeah, a new rhythm had begun. It's no longer a solo. He's not just working in the dark anymore. He's part of a composition. And you can tell, even though he doesn't know where it's going, he's ready to follow the music. It's a beautiful place to be. That first step into a new story. I'm rooting for him, man. I really am.